Tonight, 5 killed in horror rescue helicopter crash.
Net seized from Dugong protection area.
And a lucky escape from a 4-car pile-up.
This is Win News.
Good evening.
Good evening.
5 people, including a 4-year-old child and his mother, have been killed in a rescue helicopter crash at Marlborough. The aircraft, the Capricorn Rescue Helicopter, came down in thick fog early this morning, killing all on board.
163, we're on scene. The helicopter is down.
Confirmed, Rescue 9 are down, 324.
It was the broadcast nobody wanted to ever hear.
Confirmed, 327.
Around midnight last night, the Capricorn Rescue Helicopter dispatched to a property between Rockhampton and Mackay to bring in a 4-year-old boy with breathing difficulties, his mother also attending to her son on board, 2 paramedics in the craft and the pilot. The crew made their pickup and began the journey back to Rockhampton, but with thick fog closing in, the decision was made to transfer the patient to an ambulance for a road trip from Marlborough. It was then tragedy struck.
And somebody was watching the chopper and lost sight of it, and someone else heard a thud, and that's what's brought the call out and involved all people coming out here. So,
in thick fog, search parties eventually located the downed craft. RACQ mechanic Viv Jenkinson first on the scene.
It was a pretty horrific thing, and found out that I could do nothing.
First light revealed the total destruction of what had once been Central Queensland's rescue helicopter. Trapped in the wreckage, 2 of the victims, the 3 others ejected on impact, but all died instantly. Stunned emergency service personnel began gathering at the crash site, a difficult task with the victims, their work colleagues and friends.
My heart certainly goes out to our ambulance officers in Rockhampton and indeed the whole of Queensland.
I don't think you can put this sort of tragedy into words. It is obviously a most heartrending tragedy for everybody concerned.
Just after 9:30 this morning, the fog finally lifted to reveal some more details of the crash site. Over there is the Bruce Highway, which is about 200 metres away. Behind me is the township of Marlborough, where the aircraft was heading. It was one of the paramedics' last day with the aircraft before he returned to normal duties, the popular relief pilot, a highly decorated former military pilot.
It really is just unbelievable. I guess you'd have to be here to understand, I suppose, what I'm saying.
Air safety investigators are tonight examining the wreckage of Rescue 9, the victims' names yet to be released. The government's pledged a lone aircraft will be in the air within days, but there's no returning the 5 lives lost in the Marlborough fog.
These people out doing a job that they take for granted and risk their lives.
The first flowers began arriving at the home of Rescue 9 just after daybreak. It was from here the crew loaded the craft just before midnight and headed off on their last journey. The Community Rescue Helicopter Service, an integral part of Central Queensland, relying on private and public donations to keep the craft in the air. Last night's mission, one of the many life-saving tasks it's carried out since the launch over 5 years ago. A familiar sight and sound in our skies, the tragedy is a stunning blow. It's their second time the chopper service has lost an aircraft. Ironically, this disaster close to the location of the first accident. On that occasion, oxygen cylinders exploded as the pilot was preparing the craft for takeoff after attending an air crash at Tatra Station near Marlborough. The craft was destroyed, the pilot received burns. It was many months before the replacement could be found. Now too, it's been lost, performing another life-saving mission, but this time with tragic consequences. The chopper's main pilot, Mick Reynolds, is currently in the United States, inspecting the new chopper to have replaced the old one in December. Only recently the helicopter service celebrated its 1,000th rescue mission. The service was counting down the months till they received their new one. Ambulance officers have been called in from other regional centres to fill in for those too shocked to come to work after losing their colleagues and friends, all in the line of duty. Member for Rockhampton Robert Schwarten wrote the first submission to fund the rescue helicopter service in '95, along with founder John Bevere.
You never ever think that you will actually work hard to get funding and get community support for a service that will save lives. It actually ends up costing people's lives.
Meanwhile, owner of Rescue 9, Grant Kenny, who leased the craft to the service, arrived in Marlborough this afternoon to inspect the crash. Bridget Smith, Win News.